Welcome, Libra and Libra Cross Watchers, to your reading for this week. So we have the Hanged Man. I feel like you're actually able to watch something really nice happen for someone. And it feels like, it's almost like if you're kind of in this limbo space right now where I feel like you might be taking a break from something. For some of you, this might sound strange, you might be taking like a break from, it almost feels like a well-deserved break from being excuse me, from being around people. Sometimes it feels like you may feel like you're kind of always in a space where you have to be really attuned to the needs of the people around you. So I feel like you're kind of taking a break from that, and something seems to be working out really well for this person, and you're kind of able to, I want to say, like, enjoy and watch it unfold. And it feels like, well, it's happening in front of you. It almost feels like you're experiencing all of those things, but it's like it feels like you're really overjoyed for this person that it's happening. I feel like it's one of those situations where it also seems to give you this like glimmer of hope. There may have been something that you kind of wrote off in the past, like, oh, that's just not going to happen, I'm going to give up on that. And I feel like there's something about this situation that seems to change your perspective on how something can arrive in your life, if that makes sense, right? So before, if you thought like the only way, this is a ridiculous example, but just bear with me, like the only way to get ice cream is to go buy it from the store, but the ice cream truck drives by your house that day or something, right? So it just feels like it kind of makes you feel like, oh, actually, like, I want to say almost like things might not be so difficult, or things might not be so elusive. I feel like to a certain extent it may have felt in the past that you were kind of like banging your head against a wall trying to get something to happen, right? It was just, you were just trying to push this boulder up the hill. And I feel like, it's almost like every time you would get it up to a certain point, it was almost like when, probably dating myself, but when you would play Super Mario Brothers, right? And you would play and play and play, and then you'd run out of time, and you just would be, and that would be it, would be over. And you'd have to start back at the beginning. And I feel like you're looking at things like, watching this really lovely thing unfold for this person. You're able to look at your own, what's going on with you. Whereas before it may have felt like, oh, I'm just resting. I feel like you're actually starting to see that things have been like growing in your absence. If ever you've seen that gardening meme where it talks about how, well, on the surface it looks like everything is, at least up here it's very cold and, snowy in the winter, and it looks like there's nothing going on above ground, but underground the roots are, they're riotous down there, laying the groundwork. And I feel like there's almost this energy of feeling like you're in this little cocoon. And I feel like whereas before it may have, like, you were just kind of hanging out there, I feel like you're enjoying more of the comfort of it. And I feel like you also seem to be looking at it like you're kind of like enjoying the peace. And while you were like you were already kind of in a good place, but I feel like there's something here about seeing this happen for that person that you're like, oh, this could happen really differently. It really might be quite a bit easier than I thought, right? Here's the other thing. I also feel like you are, so there's that gorgeous energy, right? And the other side of that is it feels like you're looking at it like that person actually had to be very vulnerable to do what they're doing to get to where they are, right? And if you're in this kind of like cocoon energy right now, it's almost like you're seeing that whether or not that you're ready or whether or not you actually even want this thing to happen right now, I feel like you're kind of in a place where you want the thing, but I feel like you also are able to recognize that you're not really in a place right now where you want to be vulnerable enough to have the thing, if that makes sense. And I feel like there's this tinge of like, oh, that, that seems to kind of make Libra sad a bit because I feel like it's obviously something that you want, right? But I feel like there's this energy of this kind of like mixed bag here. And I'm going to be honest here, Libra. I feel like you have zero intention of getting into a place where you are vulnerable right now, from what I'm seeing. So what does Libra, what does Libra think about being vulnerable? We have the Five of Pentacles at the bottom, so obviously somebody messed you around. Then we have the Ace of Wands and the Page of Wands reversed. I feel this may not be the actual situation, okay? But it has that type of energy where you got messed around. Like you had this like joyful, hopeful, whatever. Something happened. It then was, it obviously kind of, it changed how you view relationships and connections and how you're going to relate to other people. And I feel like it may have put you in an energy where you actually seem to find fulfillment in relatively non-committal relationships, in that, hang on, let me explain that, in that they're relatively surface level, right? Like you might say hi to the neighbor, or you might chat with someone in line at the grocery store, or something that's relatively lighthearted and easy to do, but doesn't really delve into anything. And I feel like because of what happened before, because of how much you were hurt, that was enough to kind of like, okay, that's my socialization for the day. Like Libra's gonna, it's almost this energy of like, oh, that interaction was really nice. And listen, if this is the case, let me apologize on behalf of the rest of the humans, because I feel like what happened was whatever happened made you feel like interactions with other humans are not safe, right? So it could be a situation that could be created from like somebody that you trusted deeply, and like there was no question in your mind. You didn't just believe that you could trust them, you knew it. It was in your bones, and somebody pulled the rug up from underneath you. Or it could be that there were several people that kind of messed you around and left you feeling like you're the only person standing over here, right? You're the only one left. And I feel like it's been those little interactions that you've been having that have been kind of like supporting you along the way in terms of whatever you needed socially. But it's kind of been helping to make you feel a little bit safer and a little bit safer. And I feel like, and then you would start to feel like you might be safe. And that feeling of like, oh, things might be safe actually seemed to kind of kick you back into that energy. But oh, I got to be vigilant, right? It's that energy of like, whatever it was really messed you around. And that's not me, laughing because it's funny. That's me kind of uncomfortably in shock. And I feel like I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to ask you a question, actually, Libra, instead of saying something. Of course, you want the thing that the cards were talking about in the beginning of the read, but I feel like there's kind of a message here, like, is it really even what you want right now? And is it something that you're open to? And it's, and like, if it is something that you want, but you don't want right now, or you're not open to it right now, that kind of seems to come with this like certain feeling of emptiness, of feeling like, almost feeling like, well, maybe I should want it. And like, it's almost this energy of like, feeling like you should want these things, that you should have these things. And I'm going to be, sometimes that comes from like other people putting their belief systems on somebody. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like you're kind of grappling with what you want and how you want life to look. And I feel like you actually are kind of in a place where those are decisions that you're not really interested in making right now. I feel like it's like you're just taking a break. You're just taking a rest from that kind of like flurry of stuff. And I'm going to be honest here, Libra, I might be calling you out a little bit. I feel like you know that whenever you choose to come out of this cocoon, that there's going to be a lot of opportunity for you. It just feels like there's this element of like, is it okay that I'm taking this time? Again, not because you're worried about, what other people are thinking, what other people have told you. I feel like you're looking at it like, am I kind of, putting myself off track by doing this? And let me compare it to something else. Sometimes if ever you've had like a project due and the night before or like the few days before you're staying up late, you're trying to get it done. And then you notice that your productivity the next, like when you're tired, is garbage. But when you're well rested, you can kind of motor through things and it's a more enjoyable experience. I feel like that's a similar thing here, right? Like if what you need right now is to cocoon yourself, then giving yourself what you need, how is it that could stop you from getting something that you want when you actually want it? It feels like there's this energy of feeling bad because you don't want it. It's almost this like, let's say, for example, maybe you had a dream of, 2.4 kids and a white picket fence, or, that sort of stereotypical. That doesn't mean that you did, but just bear with me. And so you had the dream of having this, and then things of, life has gone a little bit differently than you thought it would, based on choices that you made that you wanted, right? And I feel like, and now you're at this place and you're kind of like, oh, you know what? I'm not so sure that's what I really like. Is that really even going to fit into what I want? And so you're kind of grappling with this. I had this dream. I'm not sure that's the dream anymore. And I feel like that's kind of, so like if what you need right now, Libra, is time to sort that out, then what you should do right now is give yourself the time to sort that out. And I feel like if you allow yourself to be okay with being in this kind of like, weird in between place, I feel like it actually will give you a lot more, like when it's the time to make those decisions, I feel like it's going to be a lot easier for you to do that because you'll be coming at it from a place that, like a really clear head and a heart that isn't weighed down. So I think I'll leave it there, Libra. I know it's getting a little bit long. I'm sorry. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.